Welcome to Google Classroom and AI Made Easy. Please note that today's session will be recorded. I will make this video recording available to you later today once the video is processed and all that good stuff. Welcome. It's summertime. I'm hoping that you guys are enjoying it out there. We've already got some questions in the chat. I'm hoping that you guys put anything into the chat that you want answered. You can also use those emojis in the Meet to participate in the class too. All right. Rachel says, hey, we took the class yesterday in person. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, we do that face-to-face. There will probably be another one in September. And we'll CCSD be using Google Classroom instead of Canvas next year. We're getting right into it, aren't we? So Classroom is going to be turned on for students. Then that sort of decision is going to be coming from your school site administrator. You know, I'm here to support you with either Canvas or Classroom and different ideas about how you can do that. Implement those different tools within your classrooms. But you know, that sort of thing is going to come from your principal oftentimes, right? Whether or not they know Classroom will be turned on next year for students is up to them, right? This has been announced within the wire. And whether or not they have a vision for whether or not that the school will choose one or the other is up to them. For me, I'm pretty technologically adept with teaching. I would want to use both. I know that's really controversial because it's confusing. Oh my God, two systems. It's gonna, well, think about the children, right? Think about the parents. The parents won't know how to do any of this stuff. I'd figure it out. I'd get going. I'd probably do my assessments on Canvas and then get really quick assignments, formative assignments, maybe out to students through Classroom. Now, like I said, that's crazy talk, right, for a lot of people here. So your school site administrator say, we're a Canvas school, in which case you're going to use Canvas. That's up to them. Or they might say, hey, Classroom, we're a Classroom school. You're going to use Classroom. Or the principal might not have any care in the world. You can use either of or both, you know. So that's up to them. All right, so that should hopefully clear that up. Take a look at what we're doing here today. We're learning how to integrate AI tools within Google Classroom to streamline lesson planning and create interactive, accessible digital handouts. Nice and easy. We'll know that we were successful if we can use AI integrated workflows and accessibility features within Classroom to design, format, and distribute instructional materials that enhance student engagement and classroom management. Take a look at what we're doing here today. We're going to make a sandbox within Classroom. So today is kind of like, you know, you guys are going to be a workshop. You guys are going to be making stuff. So make sure you've got one tab open with this Meet that we'll use for visuals. Have another tab open with Classroom, and you can switch back and forth from those different tabs. If you're like me and you're a tab person, by the end of this process, I probably have like 20 tabs going. And right now you're looking at a sea of tabs in front of you, 20 tabs open from all of this stuff from last week even. Watch what I'm going to do. I'm just going to grab one of these tabs and I'll just pull it away from the rest. Now I can work, I've just got one tab and I can start to add from there, okay? So that's one little hack that you can do if you are already lost in a sea of tabs. Okay, so we'll make a sandbox and then we're going to create a mini unit. I want you to right now start thinking about a topic or a standard that you're going to teach maybe in August, something that you'd like to have some maybe assignment, a handout that is housed within Google Classroom. And start thinking about that right now. If you can't think of anything or just need like, you know, anything, choose study skills. Why not, right? That's something that we can do for K through 12, I feel like. But better yet, I think, would be to choose an actual standard or some topic that you'll be teaching in your class next year. We're going to create a compelling hook, nice and easy. We'll be using AI to help us with all of this. We'll create a visual, a little bit of alternative text for that visual to increase our accessibility. We'll be making a Google handout, a Google Doc handout, a good old-fashioned digital worksheet, we'll call it, with some informational text. We'll assign that in Classroom, kind of think about some of those workflows within Classroom. We'll make a quiz, assign it, and then we'll quickly make a gem as well towards the end of our hour today. Fast-paced, Remembering if I'm going too fast, I apologize, but I also, because of that, will be making this video recording available to you in case you need it as additional supports and scaffolds for us. All right, so let's get started here right away. Let's get into Classroom. Any questions before we do this? All right, I put a link into the chat. Open that link up. It'll bring you to Classroom. Make sure you log in with your nv.ccsd.net account. I'll wait a moment for you guys to do that. And while you do it, you might be looking at my visual, my Meet that I'm sharing right now. You're looking at my kind of dashboard, the home area. Notice that this sidebar, this menu here, I can expand it. So if I need to see all of the words here, instead of the little icons for each of the menu items, I can expand that menu. Notice here, so I got home, 4 links down on the top left is Gemini. We'll be getting into Gemini. That's the AI features that we can access from Classroom. They're great. I like them actually more than going to good old-fashioned gemini.google.com. And I'll show you why, because it makes it pretty easy. Yeah, Gina says, hey, I've got pandemic era style classes. Oh my gosh, what do I do with these? This is going to be a problem, right? If we keep having classes year after year after year, we'll want to start to archive them. So look what I'm going to do here. Yeah, everybody look at my Meet screen here, please. Lindsay, go to classroom.google.com. Type it into the Omni bar at the top, and it will whisk you away. So take a look at my screen here, whisk you away to Classroom, or Google it. Classroom Google, and click on the link to open it up here. Take a look, folks. I'm going to click on this vertical ellipsis, and this is how I can archive old classes. So I'll mouse over the icon, the tile icon here, click on that vertical ellipsis, the one that says more options, and I can archive these. And I'm going to go ahead and do that with this old sandbox from last week's session. Thanks, Melissa, for helping me out there too. All right, I can do a bulk archive as well, right? It pulls up an opportunity here to go through and bulk archive all of them if I wanted to. You can do that real quick. Click exit. Now you're not deleting these. Look at, scroll down to the bottom here. Yeah, we'll go over all those things, Jacqueline, absolutely. Take a look at the sidebar on the left-hand side. I scrolled all the way down to the bottom here, and I can click on archived classes. So I can pull up all of those classes again. In fact, I can unarchive, I guess, what's the word? Restore these different classes as well. Or I can permanently delete them and feel a sense of relief that it's gone forever. Wouldn't that be nice? All right, but yeah, you can restore them to bring them back to life as well. All right. Now you're looking at my home, my dashboard, we'll call it, and I've got quite a bit here. You might have one or nothing in there. I want you to know that, ladies and gentlemen, please don't, next year, you don't have to create your own classes for your students. These classes within your home, within your dashboard, will all be automatically populated because there's a link between Classroom and Infinite Campus. And if you were playing around with Classroom during the pandemic, you would know that there wasn't a link before. So this is new. This is good. In fact, not only will in August your classrooms automatically populate here, they'll also be rostered with your students. So as your students enter or exit your classrooms, they'll automatically be added or removed from those classrooms too. So you don't have to have them use a code to join the classes or anything like that. It'll automatically happen. All right, yeah, if you're finding that you can't archive one of those classes, it's because somebody else owns it. Look at this, my supervisor here is Lucas Levitt, and he created this sample classroom, I believe. And so if I click over here, notice I can't archive it. That's because I can't archive a class that I don't own. You can go into that class, though, and remove yourself as a teacher, and that's a way to get rid of it if you needed to. All right, what else can I say? Okay, so let's do this. So what we're about to do here is we're going to create a class, or even hide it, exactly. let's create a class. Again, you don't have to do this with your instructional classes next year. That'll automatically happen. But for our purposes, I think it's actually kind of beneficial to have a sandbox, kind of like how we have a sandbox in Canvas. Let's make one here in Classroom. So we can play around with it. Don't put any teachers in it. Don't put students in it. This is just for us to explore and kind of, make some mistakes if we need to, and have an area that we can build things within. So I'll show you an answer how we can like copy stuff from our sandbox and bring it into another section. So in the upper right hand, if you're looking at your home page right now, your dashboard at classroom.google.com, let's click on that plus sign in the upper right hand corner. Let's click on that plus sign and we'll click create class. It's going to say link and import SI. No, the student information services. No, just click skip for now. And we're going to manually create a class. Let's call this sandbox. And for me, so I can keep track of this because I'm doing this class a bunch, I'm going to call this 6/23/26, today's date, so I can archive it next time I run this class. Let's click, and then click create. I think it'll open up that sandbox. No, it adds it. There we go. All right, people get really confused about this part. So look at the top. The default view here is the stream. See those tabs at the top of your class? Maybe you're looking at My Meet for the visual. The stream is the default view. This is the kind of like the Facebook chronological order. As you add things to your classes, it'll show up kind of like the way posts will show up in a Facebook feed. And there's not a lot of organization to it, right? Notice I can add an announcement here. This is where I get that nice banner. Click on customize on that banner. You can select a photo. In fact, let's do that now. Choose a different picture just for fun. Choose a different theme, I guess. Notice we can also change the color. And let's click save. Look at that class code. Don't use it, right? Like I said, those students will be automatically rostered. There's no need to add anyone to anything. In fact, highly suggest, not highly suggest, I would say do not add students as a teacher. If you have some, secondary schools might have students that act as teacher aides, and you say, oh, they're going to help me grade and all that. I would just never do that, right? Don't put a kid in as a teacher because they get extra rights that students don't. So just don't do it. All right. Yeah, can I hide this? What does this do? Ooh, look at this. I can turn off that class code. That's kind of cool. I'm just going to do that. Get rid of it. Boom. All right. Yeah. Probably turn off, that Meet link if I wanted to. Is there a way to upload a photo? Of course. Go back to that customize, and we can click upload photo. And you can do it the good old-fashioned way. Let's see, I want to add my logo here maybe for the class. Note that I am limited by, the aspect ratio here. So I've got to really be careful about the style of photo that I choose. Although that looks pretty cool. All right. Take a look, folks. There's more tabs at the top. So we've been on stream this whole time. Let's click on classwork. And this is where we can order and organize our classwork a little bit more. Let's click on create. Take a moment just to look at some of the things that we can add to our classroom. We can add assignments. We'll do that today. We can add quizzes. We can add like quick formative assessments. Kids click on a button and it tells you, quickly what they think. So survey question, you can write something kind of interesting. You can add material. This is one of the maybe downfalls, maybe, I don't know. It's not the best thing in the world here compared to Canvas. Canvas, we're able to create pages and we can house content that way, right? We can design beautiful pages of content. Here in Classroom, we can't do that. There's no page of content, but you can add material, right? So, maybe you have your content could exist within a slide deck. Your content could exist within a Google Doc. And so you can add that content or that material that way, a video, YouTube video, right? But yeah, so that's one of the big differences here between Canvas and Classroom is our inability to have discussion posts or house pages of content. Although there is kind of a workaround, that's that material that you're looking at here, right? Let me just click on it real fast. Look at my meet screen for a visual. Click on it. So I can add Drive, things in my Drive, a PDF. I can upload materials, that good old-fashioned Microsoft Word document you've been using the last 5 years, add that, sure. A YouTube video. I can add notebook LMs and gems. What is this one? Create. Ooh, okay. I can create blank docs or slides as well. If you were in our face-to-face session yesterday, Sarah taught us how we can create slide decks easily using AI. Add them here. Why not? All right, we'll get back to the interface of this like assign panel in a minute. Let me go back to create. All right, people are asking, can you add embedded linked pages like Canvas? Yeah, you can. Embedded linked pages. Oh, I don't think so. I said like, yeah, like something that exists within an iframe. No, doesn't quite work that way. All right, Canvas discussions are a nightmare when cross-listing sections. Yeah, yeah, they work on like an online environment well, but yeah, like most of us work within a brick and mortar school, and that's what I really love about Classroom, is that it works really fast to get a link out to kids or an assignment or a digital worksheet or something like that. And then, as the teacher, we still talk and we explain things, and yeah, Canvas is great for online, Classroom's great for blended. So somebody asked lots of questions here. Give me a moment, guys. Let me go through this because we've got 42 minutes left. Somebody mentioned that how can we get in post stuff, assignments, things from one class to the next? That's where that reuse post section is. So I clicked on from classwork, working from the top down. I click on create, reuse post, and this is how I can pull up stuff, things from one of my other sections and reuse it to answer that previous earlier question, right? All right, let's get out of that. And most importantly here, we can add a notebook LM. We'll make it gem, we'll do that. A lot of these things guys, are self-explanatory. You can just explore after the fact. Here's what I want though. Let's click on topic. So I clicked on from classwork. I clicked plus create, that blue button. And then at the bottom, we'll click on topic. And I want you to type in the topic that you guys are going to work with. I'm just going to use topic, I can't even remember what this is, but topic 6.4 of my AP Environmental Science class. It's been a while. Let me remind myself what it's about. Hey, give me a second for me. Distribution of natural resources. Oh, that sounds exciting. Okay, that's what my topic's going to be. Let's go with it, right? See what happens. I want you guys to take a moment. Let's create a new topic, and I want you to label your topic with, that topic name. All right, sounds exciting. And I remember teaching that one now. I'm like bored. I'm joking. All right. So let's make our topic. So in Canvas, we make a module, and that module houses all of our different items within a unit or topic. Here in Classroom, we can organize those different materials within a topic. All right. Take a look. Yeah, we'll talk about, you guys are getting ahead of all of the scheduling assignments, no cross-listing in Classroom, but there's a workaround. Okay, so we created a topic. Topic for me, 6.4. You guys create your topic, name it. If you can't think of anything, just type in study skills, and you're going to make a couple resources for study skills. All right, so what do we do next? To continue on our briefly on our tour here of Classroom, look at my Meet screen for the visual. This is where we can look at our different students. There's no cross-listing here, so you'll have 5 different individual sections for the 5 different classes you teach, or whatever number they are. Grades here, once you have students in here, it'll start to populate with those different assignments and the students, and you can very quickly add grades. You are able to send assignments from Classroom to Infinite Campus, which is awesome, right? So you won't have to grade here in Classroom and then manually add those grades to Infinite Campus. There will be a sync process that happens. And then I think the coolest button here is analytics. You can see how your students are interacting with your class, right? Which ones are opening different materials and accessing the stuff that you have. All right, let's go back to classwork. You can indeed, Jacqueline. Let's do this. I want you to remind myself what we're doing next. Okay, so let's get into Gemini. Let's go back to Classroom. So remember I told you Gemini, there's a link. Look at your sidebar menu. There's 4 links down from the top, Gemini. I want you to click on Gemini. Now I'm going to put this link into the chat as well. I like Gemini when it's accessible through Classroom. And the reason why is because some of these prompts have already been kind of rewritten for us, and it's very easy to go through and create resources in a standardized way using these different links here in Gemini available through Classroom. Look at my Meet visual. We can outline lesson plans, make quizzes. We'll do that in a minute. Write some informational text. Again, we'll do that later on in a moment. Would write stories, create rubrics. Somebody asked, can I attach rubrics to assignments in Classroom? You can. Take a look down here. Keep scrolling. We're going to do this here in a moment. We'll create an infographic. So there's even links that will bring you to gemini.google.com here as well, which is kind of cool. So lots of different tools to explore. Way too many to go over here today. But one thing that I really love here is the craft a compelling hook. So I want you guys to choose the yellow button, the one that says craft a compelling hook. And I want you to fill in the prompts. It'll ask you grade level, describe your lesson or class, type in that topic that you're working with today, and then choose how you want to engage your students. Yeah, I would set up your grade calculations, your formative and summative in Infinite Campus first. And then you can import those into Classroom. All right, so right now you guys are following along. I'm hoping you clicked on craft a compelling hook. You're typing in that grade, that target grade. You're typing in the topic that you're working with here today, and then choose how you want to engage your students. Maybe a combination of some of those, and then click generate. The standards, I do not believe, are currently in the system, just like they aren't in Canvas. Once you've clicked generate, Gemini creates 6 different ways that we can engage our students. I would be doing this all day long, every single day. What it was really hard for me as a teacher was how boring I got. It was like, repetition, like doing the fifth time you do one of these periods, I'm like, oh my God, why did I make that decision 5 periods ago? Right? You could do something different if you wanted to every single day. Because AI helps you think about ways that you can make it different, make it interesting for not just your students, but also for you, the person who has to actually do this every single day. And what I like about these compelling hooks is that oftentimes we just need a couple different pieces of material. Sometimes it's none, although right now I'm looking here, the topic that I chose requires a little bit of, preparation on my end. I want to choose the one where I just have to find, here we go, just something that I print out. I want you to choose, just do this real randomly, guys, because of time here. We have 34 minutes. I want you to choose that little copy icon at the bottom of one of them. Click on copy. We can export this output to a doc. Scroll down to the bottom, look, it says export to docs if I wanted to save it, but I don't. I'm just going to copy one of them, though. This one works perfect. So I copied one of those hooks. Let's go back to our class. Notice that you can access the class in your sidebar menu on the left. Our default view is the stream. I'm going to click on New Announcement. I want you to do that too. So from Stream, go back to your class, your sandbox. From Stream, find New Announcement. And I want you to paste in what you copied prior. If I lost you, go back to the Meet screen and just watch. Some of you were asking about cross-listing. Take a look. I can add this. I don't have cross-listing. Cross-listing in Canvas allows me to run all of my 5 sections out of just one Canvas section, which is great, right? Now, we don't have that here. However, we can very quickly add these different resources to our different sections. So while there's no cross-listing, I am able to very quickly add something like an announcement or an assignment to all of my different sections at the same time. Notice I have 3 classes currently selected. I can go through, I've got a little bit of, maybe jazz this up a little bit here. I've got some ways that I can bold it, italicize, maybe I'll italicize, separate these right here. Take a look here. Not bad, right? I can add something from my drive. Maybe I'm gonna, in addition, add a YouTube video. Let's watch this TED Ed video on distribution of natural resources to grab something, upload. I can add a link. Take a look though. I want you to direct your attention to the post. Don't just click post. I want you to click that arrow that's pointing down next to post. Somebody mentioned earlier, can I schedule posts? Yeah, you can. Let's click on schedule if you have it. Now notice, remember, I chose 3 classes here, so I now have control over when each of my students will receive this announcement. I have the same exact control with assignments too. So let's say that, I'm making a quiz. I don't want 4th period students to see my 1st period stuff when I announce it right at 8 a.m. or whatever the time is, right? So I can schedule out that item, whether it's an announcement, whether it's a quiz, whether it's an assignment. That would happen if I didn't do this within my Canvas class. I would have kids in my high flyer kids that get bored during geometry, and they'll go in, oh, Mr. Justice just posted the quiz. I'm going to zoom through it here so I can just hang out on my phone later on. Now you have a little bit of control here too as to when those kids can access the resources. If you're following along and you scheduled to multiple classes or just to one, let's go ahead and click schedule. And now we've got, boom, that draft will hit and become live at the time and date that you specified. Pretty cool. All right, preguntas. You can turn your mic on if you want. Questions is what that means. Any questions? Where is schedule? You can find that from any announcement, any assignment. Take a look here at my screen. Go back to that announcement. Type in some words. Look at my Meet screen. Next to the word post is another cute hidden button. That's how I can access this schedule. All right. Same thing, same feature functionality in not just announcements, but also assignments too. All right. Hey, gang, we're going to move on here. Next, we're going to create a visual. Let's do that now. So we don't have to go anywhere other than Classroom. So look, fourth link down, we'll go to Gemini. Gemini accessible via Classroom. And here's what I want. Maybe look where I am. Yeah, we'll do it again, Gina. Okay, so just let's get back to it. You'll see that button again when we start to create that assignment. So now we're at Gemini. I want you to go to classroom.google.com/AI. Let's put that into the chat. Go there, please. And scroll down to the bottom. Notice there's all of these extra cool little buttons here, like visualize a concept. For me, since I'm doing something about distribution of natural resources, I want to create an infographic. So I want you to choose one of these, like create an image to spark discussion, draw a comic, visualize a concept. One of these links here that will make an image. I'll click create an infographic. And then just like last time, we'll fill in the information here. So take a moment. Wish I chose something that has fewer words. Be fine. Briefly type in those text fields, and then click Ask Gemini. All right. Ooh, it looks pretty good for me. Give me a thumbs up if you're generally just about where I am right now, which is I just created an image. Okay. How about we give another 20 to 30 seconds for AI to finish it up? For those who are not quite there yet. Remembering if I'm going too fast, I'm recording this for us. I'll send you the link. I'll also send you an implementation guide that if you don't want to watch the video. All right. So notice that it brought up a new tab. Right now I'm in Gemini.google.com. I'm in that other platform. Gemini everywhere nowadays, right? You can access it from any Chrome product, it seems. But how about where it says, notice where, if you're looking at my Meet screen, it says Ask Gemini. I'm just going to say write alt text. And I'll say 100 words or less. And that's just my prompt here. I'll put that, if you don't want to type it out, I'll put it into the chat here of our Meet. You can copy and paste it there too. Here's what we're going to do in a minute, right? We're going to create a digital worksheet. That digital worksheet is going to have some content on it, some questions in that picture that we just made. And I'll show you how to put that alternative text in with the picture. Again, this might be a little too advanced. So if you're like, oh, what is alternative text? Just skip it. And you can, but I'll talk about it in a minute, of course. But get to the point where we have an image. We're making stuff. Exciting. We got 26 minutes. I don't know how I'm going to pull this off. We'll find out. I usually am able to do it, though. With the magic of AI. All right. Let's go back to Gemini. Gina's still working on it. Hey, listen, we can also go to just images.google.com and we're just find one online. Somebody's already made one. That's fine too. Same with Melissa, right? Watch this. Just go to images.google.com and I'll type in my topic. And then I'll just find one here. Okay, so not a big deal, right? I know, Keith. Thanks for joining in again. I don't know why I do this. I overplan. I should have just said, we're going to do one thing, make a sandbox. But I packed the class. All right. So if we don't have that image made, that's fine. We can just grab any old image or you can skip it. Let's go back to Gemini in Classroom. So we'll go to classroom.google.com. I'm going to put that link into AI. Thanks, Keith. I'm glad that you're here for it. You never know what's going to happen, too. It's like walking on a tightrope for me. It's what I love actually about teaching. That's my favorite thing. Let's just see what's going to happen. All right. I want you guys to find where it says write informational text. This is one thing I didn't mention prior. Like AI, Gemini might actually know your tier one instructional materials. So if you're using Envisions Math, mention it by name to AI and see what it makes. So I went to Gemini, that's accessible through Classroom, that fourth link down from the top left. I clicked on write informational text. This is going to become our handout in a minute. And then fill it out, right? Go ahead and type in that target grade, that topic that we've been working with. Click generate learning objectives, and then generate. Keep clicking those blue buttons until you get that text. All right. See if you can get to the point where I'm at, which is I've got informational text. Give it another 30 seconds. Maybe your Gemini is still working on making that image. Check up on it. All right. How about 15 more seconds? Listen, if I lost you, open up a doc from your drive. Because today is really, I mean, we're going to assign that doc in a second here, okay? And that's really what we're practicing here. I'm trying to give you a little extra stuff, a little flavor of how we can use AI and Classroom to make some of these docs. But if you got lost, just open up any doc and it'll be fine too. Where does the image show up? Yeah. How about this, Liz? At this point, we'll just use images.google.com. Just find any old picture that corresponds with your stuff, okay? But where is it? When we were working with it earlier, for me, it opened up a tab to go to gemini.google.com. Okay, but like I said, any picture will do. All right, take a look at our informational text, guys. And I apologize. I feel like I probably overplanned here today, but let's try to see if we can get through the next 21 minutes. We're going to click on Export to Docs. Notice I can just add this to my class. I want to format this in my doc a little bit. So looks like on the bottom or the top, it says Export to Docs. Let's go ahead and do that now. Boom. Should open up yet another tab. Take a minute. Let's turn this into a worksheet. Marcy, thank you for that support. Thanks. Yeah, and if you guys know some of these questions here in the chat, that's like I didn't even think of that. That's brilliant. It's probably the reason why. All right, so all I'm doing right now, I'm just turning this. Look, I've got to vet this. I've got to read it. You're looking at me in a time crunch here. I'm just going to say it's perfect. But yeah, in reality here, I'm going to vet it for accuracy and for bias. And then I want to clean it up. Like what I love about this, every time I've done this session, it gives me three like reflection and inquiry points. I'm going to turn those, this is a handout. I want to turn these into good old fashioned analysis questions. Change the words. And, analysis questions. Worksheets have 1, 2, 3, right? Let's turn this into a numbered list. Maybe add a little space. Here's what I do, folks. Take a look at my meet screen, if you could, please. This is a worksheet, right? We're not going to print it up, so we don't have to do like, let's add a bunch of lines like this that they're not going to write anything. They're going to type. So don't add line. Here's what I do. Started doing this during the pandemic. I add a little hashtag, and then I select the hashtag and come up here to highlight, like where I'm going. See that cute little highlight icon? And then I turn it yellow. And then at the beginning of the year, I tell the kids, hey, anywhere where you see yellow, that's where you do something like type. And don't change the color, don't change the font, please. When I start to grade these, I can very quickly see where it is they typed it in. So I just put a little hashtag. I don't even need to, some people put like a, I used to do that. So just put it at the end of the paragraph. Boom. I copy that real fast. Yeah, right. Boom. And that's where their answer is. And you might think, okay, well, what they're going to do is they're going to take this, come up here to Gemini and say, what's the answer to this question? And they can do that. Now, here's the thing. Watch. Look at my meet screen. This is the reason why I like docs. I eliminated paper from my classroom through Canvas, actually, but that's because I use this version history. Look where I am. This version history tells me how the user, in this case me, or if the student was using it, how they're interacting with this. If there are a lot of items right here in this right-hand side in this version history, then I know that the students have been typing it out. It actually is recording every single keystroke in the doc. So if you just have a chunk of text that magically appears, you'll know it was AI that answered that question. And that's always really fun to bring in that information into like a parent teacher conference. I would love that. I did this. Then they stopped having parent teacher conferences with me because I'm like, well, let's take a look at your work here. Well, there's I tell them the version history and where did this chunk of text come from here? Oh, you didn't type it yourself. Well, there you go, right? Get a little passive aggressive with the version history. It's always fun. And that's the fun thing is that I tell them about the version history in the very beginning of the school year, right? So they know I'm never going to look at it really, but they know that I could look at it if it comes down to it. So lean into the version history, lean into docs. Don't be afraid. Those kids that are going to copy and paste, they're going to do it good old fashioned with paper pencil too. The kids that are going to cheat are going to cheat. They're going to find a way to do it, right? We have to trust that and trust that the kids are going to do it and create that culture in our class where they don't have to do it. They don't have to cheat. Like I'm going to help you out, right? Talk to your partner if you want to. It's like, you don't have to cheat. Why cheat? Because I'm giving you the time in class to do it. So anyway, yeah. So there's that. So we've got to. Oh God, how am I? 16 minutes. How are we going to pull this off, folks? Let's do it. We created a worksheet. Oh my gosh, look at this. Oh yeah, this is where it all starts falling apart. Remember when? Now I've got to reference multiple tabs. Remember when we may or may not have created an image? If it worked for you, copy that image. So I just went back to my tab, copied that image, Find a spot, paste it in. Again, I apologize, guys. This taking my time to get you all the answers. Remember the alternative text? Again, there's advanced users out there. Really quick, just watch. This is too much, I know. Just real quick, some of you guys might want to know about this though, right? Accessibility is really good for kids that might need to uh, um, interact with your class with screen readers. And so when the technology comes across an image that is integral to your instruction, the screen reader doesn't have the context. That's why alt text is really important. Look, this is advanced, so skip it if I'm overwhelming you. I've selected the image. I'll click on image options. That might be hidden if my screen is really small. So find image options, select the image, click on image options, and then find where it says alt text, and then we'll paste in that alt text. That's advanced. We're going to move on because we got 14 minutes left. All right. My apologies for rushing this. Let's assign it. We're going to go back to, I know I'm losing you guys. I hope you're there for it. Give me a thumbs up if you're here for it. All right. Most of us are there. All right. I know I lost some of you guys. I apologize. I'll answer Gina. I'll answer those questions here because we've got so much time. So let's go back to that sandbox. Remember, default view is stream. Let's click on classwork. Let's click on create, work from the top down. Let's click on assignment. Type in a title. Otherwise, maybe that's the reason why you didn't have post or the word assign, is because you didn't have the required topic. So make sure you type in a title, I should say. You didn't have the required title in there. Click on Drive. And then let's find that worksheet. Now, if you didn't make the worksheet or I lost you back when we were trying to make the image earlier, just choose anything from your drive because this is a sandbox. It's just practice. Let's add that. Now, this is critical. Critical. Look at my meet screen, please, for the visual. If I just clicked assign, look what the file sharing options are currently. Students can view the file. What I want to do is make a copy for each student. So I selected that file sharing option and I clicked make a copy for each student. When I click assign, now I'm going to create a doc that I am the owner of and that the student has share set, has the ability to type with it. When the kid submits this assignment, those editing rights go away, just like if they turned in a piece of paper. They can't keep typing in it or copying and pasting answers after they submitted it. So they lose those editing rights. Again, I love this system, right? But if you don't click make a copy for each student, critical that we do, then the students will have to make their own version, their own copy, and then you don't have the rights to it. And you don't want that. Make a copy for each student. Take a look at the assign panel over yonder way, just like with the announcements, right? I guess it doesn't say post, it says assign for these. If I just click the button, I'm good to go. I can also schedule these, just like I can with announcements. There is that check plagiarism option. If you're looking at that assign panel, I've got my due dates that I can add in there. These due dates show up on students' calendars. Make sure that we add this assignment to our topic, our module, right? Otherwise, we'll have to do that manually later. Somebody was asking about grade categories. You wouldn't have to set grade categories unless you imported those from Infinite Campus. That's something you do in the beginning. So, I never did that here, but because I don't have an Infinite Campus. But yeah, you'll be able to choose like formative or summative, which is great. All right, somebody asked about attaching rubrics. Yes, you can do that there. And then check plagiarism, good idea to do that as well. All right, and just like last time, we can also add this to multiple classes. Just like a cross-listed class here, I can add this to multiple sections and then schedule those out specifically to individual students as well, including days and times. All right, but I'll just click assign, and boom, we now have a good old-fashioned digital worksheet that will save a bunch of paper and a bunch of trees that allows you to have colored images on those digital handouts, something that we wouldn't be able to do with the lack of toner oftentimes in our schools. We have those that ability to track what the kids are actually doing with that version history. Don't be afraid of a digital handout in classroom because you've got some control over it. All right. To be honest, Gina, I'm not too sure. I feel like what it's doing is it's going out and comparing students' answers to what might be found online. I don't know if there's AI capabilities in that plagiarism. Let's get into this, folks. I don't know about Savas and my perspectives. I do not think that there's currently that integration that is available through those platforms on their own. All right, let's go back to Gemini. I mean, look at what we're doing next. Oh, how are we going to pull this off? We're going to do this really fast because of AI. Watch this. I clicked on Gemini. That's that link on the left-hand side, classroom.google.com/AI. Let's click on Generate a Quiz. And then just like we've done before, right? This makes it so easy. Let's type in, fill out those text fields with the target grade. Let's make 10 questions. Type in your topic that you've been working with. Generate those learning objectives. Keep clicking that blue button. Notice you have some control over question types. I'm just going to choose multiple choice because it's formative. It's going to be automatically graded. I don't want to have to read anything. This is 10% of their grade. I'm not going to spend 3 hours reading their responses. So just make it multiple choice. If this was a summative, I might include long answer questions. 10%, that's what I started doing in my class. I'm like, I'm not going to bust my hump for 10% of the grade. It's going to, by the end of the semester, impact their grade by 0.02%, right? Like, but it took me 3 hours of my time outside of contract time. No. Click generate questions. I don't know if you can integrate Notebook LM, Keith, along with this Gemini process. That would be cool to do. Yeah, we have limited controls with those text fields. Some of them allow you to upload materials like PDFs, but I haven't seen anything that allows you to connect a Notebook LM, although that would be really cool. If you're looking at my screen, guys, hopefully you're generally around where we created those questions. Scroll down to the bottom. Notice I can, to kind of go along with what you're saying here, I can continue to modify this with a prompt. So I wonder, like, if you typed in a Notebook LM or gave a link to it, I don't know. Maybe that would be interesting, something to explore for sure. Lower the rigor of the questions. Again, we can modify with the prompt. So look at my meet screen here. We have some additional controls. I need these to be DOK1. Let's see what happens. So you have a little bit of way that you can still control those questions. All right, I want you to find, it looks like it did that here, like, what is the definition of? Perfect. All right, yeah, I don't know. I like my old one. Anyway, so I'm going to click on export. Watch this, folks. Click here. And I can export this to forms. It's going to do it for me anyway if I just click add to class. Let's do that now. Boom. So from the list of questions, we'll scroll down to the bottom, look for that blue button, export. Let's add to class. Choose your sandbox you've been working with, and then let's make the classwork type quiz assignment. And we'll click confirm. Should bring me to my class, I'm hoping. Yeah, sure enough. Don't forget to idle this. Thanks for the interaction in the chat, you guys. It's helping me out. And it's also increasing collaboration, which is, I mean, 21st century skill right there, right? Appreciate you guys. And appreciate your questions too. It's awesome. All right, so I notice it's given me the form already. So what's cool about this? I'll click on that form, boom. Now I probably want to change this here. Like I need these to be DOK1. All right, change the title to something different. And I can review this so that form's present. Again, just like last time, I'm going to add this to multiple sections if I wanted to. I have the ability to schedule them out, creating that due date, all that good stuff. For a quiz, I'm definitely going to want to lock down the time that these are available. And I can do that with this assign panel on the right-hand side. I love this too, right? You might be looking, it says locked mode on Chromebooks. I don't know if that's works for every Chromebook or if it's just like district Chromebooks. This is something that you guys are going to explore, I'm hoping, next year. But I'm assuming that students won't be able to click out of their tabs, which I think is kind of cool. All right. Ooh, let's click close submissions after due date. Not a bad idea. We'll click assign. And we just added a form quiz. I got 3 minutes left, folks. Gina, I love that you love this. That's awesome, right? I love it too. The form thing, I think, is the biggest enhancement to anything. It's the reason why I would choose Classroom over Canvas, to be honest with you, is how easy it integrates and how fast I can make those formative assessments that exist in the forms mode. Oh, look at that. It still has my other version of my quiz. That's cool. Yeah, it does look like it decreased the DOK level when I prompted it. Ladies and gentlemen, last thing that we're going to do, let's go back to that sandbox. Click here, that's fine. All right, click on our sandbox. Let's go from stream to classwork. Wish the default was classwork and not stream. That's beside the point. Let's click on our sandbox. Click on the tab at the top that says classwork, working from the top down. Click on plus create. And we're going to add a real fast gem here in the last 2 minutes of class. We'll click on plus create. You can just look at my link, my Meet visual right now. We'll click on gem. What I love about this, if you don't know what a gem is, make one and then try it out from the student's perspective. It's awesome. I can make a really fast quiz me gem on my topic. And look what I can do. I can actually choose the topic, the content. If I have a bunch of stuff in my classroom, I can choose what I want the gem to focus on. In this case, my topic that I've been working with the last hour. So instead of like creating your own and select an existing gem, I can just have Google and the magic of them and the prompt that they've already written for me. I'll just make the Quiz Me version or a study guide or one of the other 4 options. Click on Create Gem. I don't know how I'm able to do this within 60 minutes, even with all of these wonderful discussions that we've been having, but we were able to, I'm still stalling, able to come on work before the 11 a.m. There we go. All right, gem cannot be created. I love that. Let's do it again. Almost made it out scot-free. Love it. There it works. Okay. Still within 11 a.m. All right, so let's do this. We've just created that quiz me gem on our topic. I push create that topic that I want to add it to, and I click post. And just like that, I can create a really awesome quiz me gem that uses the topics in the content that I created earlier, and I can add it very fast to my class. And that's all within 60 minutes. I don't know how we pulled it off, folks. Listen, I know that I feel like I went way too fast. I'll make this available to you, this audio and video recording available to you after the fact. Give me about 2-3 hours to process it. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me.